I said pick out internet providers. Now, if you're a patron,
I have no issues on picking out my internet provider.
Yeah, I know, right? But you're butt faced, and you've had to pick it out before, so you can contribute or you can just be smug, and that's why Kelsey's not even here tonight. So I don't want to hear it. So, if you're a patron, you've heard that I was going through some issues trying to pick out maybe a new provider.
Yeah, you even talked to the T-Mobile people at Southern Fried Gaming Expo. They had a little booth there for their 5G Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and because I do really want sponsors, I'll be honest and just honest. And I'm not going to disparage anything because I'd love for them to do better and connect with us. Because I'd love to be able to be a spokesperson or something with this show about, hey, Parliament of Papas, you need to go to T-Mobile. That's where the fam's at. I did end up ordering it, and because I've done a bunch of different research, and it does work with the
because didn't they also say you could cancel within like a week
15 days? Yes.
Yeah.
Which was amazing. Somebody banned this bot over here. Joe, what's up with this bot right here? What's up? We know Kelsey's not here. You're being extra smart. That's a bot.
She's like the person from Monsters Inc. Always watching.
Roz, is that Roz?
Yeah, Roz.
Her name. Always watching, Wazowski.
There you go. And fiber's where I'd want to go. It's still for some reason not quite in my area. I don't know why, because they were definitely making progress to put it in my area. But I did end up.
Then they heard you wanted it, and they were like, "Nah, we can't let him have that. He'll become too powerful."
Kelsey, call him upstairs for something. I'd like to tell a story for one. I know he talks all the time, right? It's just, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I love you, man. I'm just getting excited about Dragon Con. Anyway.
So he really wishes he had internet, but his internet just went out on him for some reason. No idea why that happened. No idea at all.
Whole world.
We gotta change the logo.
So I can mute you guys on the recording, and the world will never know because our video plays are not nearly as high as our downloads. So, but yes, I did order the T-Mobile because I did research. I said, okay, of course it ranges. It depends on your signal, but honestly, when I bought T-Mobile about 2 years ago, I think it was, we swapped over to T-Mobile. It was rough at the house signal wise, but everywhere else it worked for me. And that's what I needed for my job. I was like, I really need really good coverage everywhere I go. And everywhere else it was fine. And they've really improved it to the point that when we start talking about I become robotic if it's before the show, I'll actually cut off the Comcast wired cable to my house. I'll cut the computer off of it rather and connect to my phone. Way better. And it's like it's a gig down or higher. Sometimes it can be up to 500 or 600 up sometimes with T-Mobile. So I'm like, okay, I feel fairly confident. I don't know if I got a bad unit or if it's just different, but I was very disappointed in the setup. And the running of it.
15-day trial.
Yeah, I just got it Monday or Tuesday. No, Monday. I got it Monday because I played with it it's supposed to be an easy setup, right? I told my wife, like, no offense, but it's designed for people like you, who don't want to understand tech, who don't need you just want to plug it in, turn it on, and it works.
Plug and play.
And it, Quoty Fingers did. And before I hooked anything else up to it, I connected my phone to it. And I could not open speed test. Because what's the first thing we all do as nerds when we get to an internet? I don't care where it is, right? We're in a restaurant. Oh, there's a guest Wi-Fi speed test. Every time.
Yep.
Every time. It's just, that's my crack, right? I just want to play with speed test. And I was like, to the point it wouldn't open up, that I actually started Googling, does the T-Mobile modem block speed test? And some other people would ask that question, but it looks like in general, no. Like they even advertise in the picture in the commercials. Here's their speed test speeds and this kind of things.
Right.
So I just grabbed my wife's Mac laptop. We're sitting 3 feet from it, connected it. It would do stuff, but some of it was slow. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not paying for internet to wait for YouTube to load or Facebook. But then it sped up. Then eventually it did let me do something. It let fast.net, fast.com. Then the one from Netflix, fast.com. It did that one. It was showing okay speeds. So I said, okay, maybe it just has to warm up. I don't know. It's being a little weird. So then I tried to hook my mesh to it. It did okay. I actually ended up on Tuesday. So I ended up putting the old internet back Monday. I went to see Deadpool 3, which I'll no spoilers. I'll talk about a little bit and what I'm learning out about. And then so Tuesday when I got home before I had to do some Dragon Con stuff, I reset it back up. It seemed to be okay. Like I want to see it work. You know, I want to say, boom, I see this pops. I can speed test. I can check speed test. I can hardwire over here, check that speed test. Wasn't quite getting that. Yes, Rando Kid. I did try turning it off and back on again. Once or twice.
Fair question though.
It actually is, and it really is. So I got my mesh network set up, which by the way is now called Maximum Effort. I reset the whole mesh network to see if that was the problem, connected it in. I did okay here in the office, but there was some breaking up. There was some iffiness to it. And I was like, I don't know, man. But then when I go into the house, my wife's in there on her phone in the living room and she's like, babe, I'm like, what? She goes, put the internet back. It's trash. Now I get mad at her because I've dealt with this for 23 years. Kurt, Joe, you both work in a version of IT where you're doing support and somebody comes to you with an IT problem. What do you need from those people to help them?
Money.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Symptoms.
Things that you can, exact issues, right? Things that you can go, let me try to recreate this. So I said, you know what? I'm not listening to you. One, I don't even know if you connected the TV right because I changed stuff without getting to talk to you. And it's written on the board because we had that big whiteboard in our entryway. So it's written on the board. Two, there literally is a thing that says internet issues with a line, and you're supposed to write down what's going on. So saying it's trash, shut up. And then I went and got my ice cream.
You got to fill out the form, sign it in triplicate, do all the things.
Ticket. Come on.
Did you get approval from your manager?
Yeah. John's got details.
I need your insurance card to see if it's covered.
So I just gotta side note, I'm not snappy, like I don't control what I'm saying snappy. I've been a little snappy as in I'm tired of people using me as a real punching bag and thinking I'll just take stuff. So I've been a little pushy back on a whole lot of things lately. So that was one of them. So then once I took my time to get my ice cream and whatever water or whatever I was going to drink that night and then get settled on the couch, I'm like, okay, now if you'd like to tell me what you tried to do, I was patronizing a little bit. If you'd like to tell me what you tried to do so I can understand it, I will be happy to hear you. But I've told you a million times, saying something's trash, I'm just going to tell you to shut the F up. So what? She goes, well, we'll play any show anywhere. Like, all right, let me try. So sure enough, I'd made sure the connection was right. It's a Roku box and went to Max. Well, Max loaded and it's kind of played the movies. The first one thing was up was Twister because Twister 2 is out right now, and so Max is promoting Twister, and it looked kind of crap. I'm like, well, I don't know if it's crap because they just basically copied the VHS of Twister and put it on Max, or if it's the internet. So I tried the second Dune 2, Electric Boogaloo, whatever it's called.
Yep.
And it looked just as good as I remember seeing this. Okay, maybe it's still like 1080 and stuff 4K, but it's not the internet necessarily. Go to Netflix, it asks who's watching, locks up every single time on the laptop, on the TV, on the phone. It will not let Netflix load at all. So okay, we're done. I mean, I can only spend 2 nights working on this, and it really was a chance to give a review on this and say, I am going to take it back and tell them my story. It's like, look, with one computer on it, it did this. And then when I connected to my network, it didn't get any better. So I don't know if I'm just not right for the product. Maybe it's my exact address is just a little off, but the fact that it's showing good speeds, and when I say good speeds, it's well over 600 on some tests. It just didn't make sense. And that's the thing. It is a consumer product. Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, it sounds like it has some serious DNS resolution issues, considering that it seems to be site specific. So it might have routing issues with some of the popular traffic nodes.
Little side note, this episode is brought to you by patreon.com. We're going to add a new patron tier. So you can pay to see me have a conversation with Joe Biden while eating ice cream, because that's what Random Kid wants, and Random Kid gets what Random Kid wants. So that's a fun tier. Now I'm not sure how
that would definitely be an
interesting me, but yeah,
an interesting video.
So yeah, but the thing is, it really very much is a plug and play box. It's turn on, it finds your phone, and you go through the T-Life app, which I think is a great app, and the setup to that was very good, but there's nothing I can change or check on it, right? There's nothing I can say, let me check the settings, let me see if I can check this thing or swap that thing. So basically I love T-Mobile. If you're listening, we'd love to have you as a sponsor. And I very much love your phone service and your customer service. Let me tell you, T-Mobile customer service in the cell phone industry, in my experience, above all else. However, it just didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. But I do love that it's a 15-day trial, so I can take it back this weekend and not worry about it.
So in case anybody's wondering, they're not listening.
Maybe not today. Maybe not live right now.
Call them on the phone. They don't listen to you.
Here's my deal. The moment T-Mobile tags us, says they're listening, they don't have to throw us money. They tag us and say we're listening. Kurt retires.
Yep.
That's bottom line.
Yep. I'll do that.
But
Kurt's their favorite one, so they'll never tag us.
Right. Well, and you know, the cool thing is,
Wait. Why would he be the favorite one, Joe? Why is he the favorite one, Joe?
Because I'm not that aggressive.
Look, you want good coverage? You get your butt on that T-Mobile. I'm turning this car around.
Yep, exactly.
Good stuff. But that 15-day trial is beautiful because it's zero stress. I could take my time to see if it works. So right now, I'd be calling and arguing. I don't want this. Now I got to turn my other one back on. I was able just to pull the Comcast modem out of the way, connect up the T-Mobile one, and try it, which is great. And my only other options, well, I mean, not viable options. I got crap options for Spectrum and for AT&T, and they're all way lower than Comcast. And my issue with Comcast is just sometimes the upload, which is what I need for my streaming, gets wonky on me. And then we found one called Easy Internet or something like that, and I'm gonna see if they'll let me do a trial. My house is built on an ancient Native American burial ground.
Yep.
But what about you guys? Obviously, you've gone through moves. You've had to sometimes pick. Now, Joe, you're fortunate to live in an area right now where it's part of your utilities, and you get gig up, gig down, and which is great. But
well, I pay for their lowest amount, which is $300 up and down. But yeah.
But you still get parity and you get stable internet.
Yeah.
And you could shop around.
I have synchronous speeds. I could shop around. There are 3 fiber options here now, I think. I know there's at least 2 because I know AT&T put in fiber lines, but I think there's a third set of fiber optic lines locally. But like, if you talk to anybody in the area, they will tell you to go with EPB every day. That's what it's called, the electric power board. So the power company.
I thought that's what you called your food stamps in Chattanooga. My bad.
They're amazing. They have not increased their price in over a decade on their lowest offering, but they have increased the speed of their lowest offering. So because when I first got it, it was 100 up and down synchronous. And they were like, yeah, we're getting rid of the $100 speed tier, 100 megabit per second tier. And, we're just going to bump everyone up to 300. We're like, awesome. But yeah, when I first moved here though, we moved in with my in-laws and they had, I think it was AT&T, and it was 3 megabits per second up and down.
Sounds like DSL.
And I was like,
good DSL.
And I at that time I was really big into League of Legends, and I was like, yeah, this is not gonna work for me. And so I was like, if you do not want to get better internet, I will pay for the internet while I'm here. And so they ended up looking into it, and it wasn't even that big of a price jump to go for them to go from 3 to 100. And so they're like, okay. And I don't think they've ever regretted upgrading that. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. Yeah. My wife says, he absolutely never wants to move from the area, because of the internet. I have told my wife that if we move from this house, it needs to still be within EPB service area, because of the other internet companies petitioning the government. EPB is not allowed to expand its area.
Wow.
But the area that it does cover, it basically has a monopoly because of how good the service is.
That's pretty strong.
What about you, Kurt?
So we have a few different options around here, and I'm not even counting the providers that resell other lines services. You know, so we've got 2 separate fiber companies that actually have their own runs, and we have Comcast or Xfinity, and I think we have Consolidated Communications, which does provide. Still provides like a DSL type service. But so I have fiber through a company called Fidium, which is the fiber offshoot of Consolidated. That's all that is. And right now I'm still in the promotional period because I've only had it for a little less than a year. And it is right now $55 a month for gig up, gig down. And that's going to go up to
a good price.
Yeah,
Very
it's a good price. It's going to go up to like I think $80 or $90 a month, which is
that's still fantastic. I'm paying $90 right now.
You're supposed to get re-upped, aren't you, on the introductory price because of the snafu?
Okay. He's supposed to have a note to say,
Yeah, that note is non-existent. And in fact, when I called them to complain about my bill getting kicked back up, they're probably going to say, yeah, nobody works here anymore that was here last year when this happened to you.
Probably.
So look, it doesn't matter. So if it goes back up to, if it goes like to the 80 or 90, whatever it is, it's still going to be cheaper than what Comcast was for slower speeds.
Yeah, that's actually comparable to the gig line here. That's the 2.5 gig line here. But it's all in the ballpark.
Right. And honestly, other than the week-long outage that I had due to a miscommunication on their part, it's been great service. I really haven't had any issues. So, and when it was out, it was because the line got cut. So
that's a good reason to be out.
Yeah. So
it should have never been cut.
Well, agreed, but I think it was due to a storm.
Okay.
Either way, it's still not because they're just not taking care of things, is all I'm really saying.
Right. So yeah, it's way better than cable, which I had for years. I've had cable, I've had DSL, I've had ISDN back in the day.
Holy cow! Wow.
Well, and this was. I had ISDN where you had to have an installer come and install the special ISDN line, get a separate modem for it because it was, again, and it was way higher speed than at that point. We were still doing dial-up, and dial-up was like 56.6.
Yeah.
And ISDN was 128K or 512.
So kiddos, for comparison, to download a JPEG, a relatively small JPEG, you would do it on 56K. I think you'd do it over about an hour and a half.
And you'd only get to the shoulders.
Yeah, watch the lines as it goes down.
Yeah, you would only get to the shoulders. For
a single picture. Yeah, I know. For a single picture, that's what he's talking about with those speeds. Whereas now, if they can't have, I shouldn't say them the same way. If we can have our YouTube running and this going and that going, and it lags for a second, and we're
like, what's going on with the internet?
You hit play, I get fussy when I hit play on any digital show, and it spins for like 2 seconds, and then it plays. Like, what are you doing?
Unless it's the ad, then the ad starts right away.
Right.
Oh, well, yeah,
it's the show itself that spins.
Yep.
So that's you're not wrong about that.
But we live in a magical age, is all I'm saying.
I'm saying that dude. This is why
roll that Roll that dice. Roll that dice.
So there's that.
Up,
but
Mike.
that's why I said. But that's legit why I always say I want to live forever, because of how far we've come in my lifetime so far. It's just magical.
Yep.
To sit out in my backyard, watch a movie on the projector, fire pit, and I'm sitting here talking with Joe in chat or something and watching else,
but you can't watch it on the projector because your projector doesn't work anymore.
That's a different projector. Just because I'm a early adopter, son.
More like a late adopter, since they no longer support it.